Yeah. Hi guys. We understood what is being life cycle and what is depends on. Can you tell me what is the purpose of depends on? When one class is indirectly dependent on the another class, then we will go for depends on attribute. Perfect. Now, so we have to start our discussion related to Spring Boot. Before that, I want to explain one small concept, or I can say one small tool that we are going to use in every project. So that is Project Lombok. We are going to use this concept in the spring. So we need to understand what is this Project Lombok. Right. So what is Project Lombok? Are you guys using? Anybody using this or not using this? In the Hibernate you are using? Okay. Let's understand what is this Project Lombok. Project Lombok is a third-party library. It is not from the Sun Micro system. It is a third-party library. It is used to avoid boilerplate code in the project. It is used to avoid boilerplate code in project. What is the meaning of boilerplate code? Boilerplate code is nothing but repeated code. The same code that we are writing in multiple classes. That is called as boilerplate code. Project Lombok is a third-party library. It is used to avoid boilerplate code in the project. Now, Project Lombok will help us in writing setters, getters, right? Two-string method, parameterized constructor, hash code method, equals method. In a project, multiple classes will be available. In a project, multiple classes will be available. In the class, we will write some variables. Let me take one project and let me show you. File, new, Maven project. I'm creating a Maven project. Create a simple Maven project. Now, let's take it as 08 Lombok application. Group ID, I will use as some name and artifact ID 08 Lombok application. Click on finish. Now, my project is created. In this project, I want to use one class, new class here in .ashokit.some DTO. I'm using a class with a name called user. What is the meaning of DTO? Data transfer object. So I want to transfer the data from one layer to another layer. Then we will go for DTO class. I'm taking a class with a name called public class user. In this class, I'm taking the variables private integer user ID, private string username, private string email, private string some password, private string some gender, private long phone number. Like this, I have taken some variables in the class. These variables are private variables, can be accessed only within the class, cannot be accessed outside of the class. To provide access for these variables, we are going to write the setter methods and getter methods. Can you tell me how to write the setter methods and getter method? Right click, source, generate, getters and setters. Select and generate. So I'm writing setter methods and getter methods for these variables. And I want to write toString method also for the variable. What is the purpose of toString method? What is the purpose of toString method? ToString method is used to print content of the object. ToString method is used to print content of the object. So right click, so generate ToString method. Click on generate. I have written setters, getters and ToString method. I want to write a zero param constructor and parameterized constructor also. What is the purpose of constructor? constructor is used to initialize the object, right? So let me write zero param constructor. Yes, zero param constructor is available. And the next one, let me write parameterized constructor, right click, run, right click source, generate constructor using fields. Now click on generate. So with this one, I have 6 variables in the class. For these 6 variables, I want zero param constructor. I want parameterized constructor. For every variable, one setter method, one getter method. Then finally, I'm having 2 string method. Are you able to follow me? So total, how many lines of code available in the class? 80 lines of code available in the class. So this is user class. This is user class. Now, let me go for another class with a name called person. Let me go for another class with a name called person. So here, again, I am writing the variables. Private integer person ID, private string person name, and private string gender, private long phone number, private date of birth, private date of birth. Like this, I have taken some variables. For this class also, I want the same thing. Zero param constructor, parameterized constructor, setters, getters, and 2 string method. How to generate the zero param constructor? Source, generate constructor. Generate constructor using fields. I got the parameterized constructor. Then go for zero param constructor. One zero param constructor, one parameterized constructor available. Then let us go for setters and getters. Right click, source, generate getters and setters for all the variables. Then override 2 string method, source, override 2 string method. I have done this. How many lines of code is there? Almost 70 lines of code available. Similarly, I am having one more class called teacher. In the teacher class also, variables will be available. Teacher ID, teacher name, teacher email ID, phone number, date of birth, gender, like this. Can I say these setters, getters, 2 string equals hash code common for all the DTO classes in the project? Yes or no? Variable names can be different, but the procedure is common. In every DTO class, constructor should be available, setter methods should be available, getter method should be available, 2 string method also should be available. This code, if you are writing in 2 classes, 3 classes, 10 classes, 20 classes, that is called boilerplate code. Now tomorrow, I want to change one variable name. I want to change one variable name. Instead of email, I want to change the variable name as user email. When I change the variable name, then my constructor code should be modified. My setter method should be modified. Getter method should be modified. 2 string method should be modified. I need to regenerate everything. I need to regenerate everything. So that's why to avoid these problems, we are going to use Project Lombok. If you go for Project Lombok, you can avoid boilerplate code. You no need to write the constructors. You no need to write the setters, getters, 2 string. Everything will be provided by Project Lombok. Now tomorrow, whenever you have a binding class, you should not write the code like this because it is a boilerplate code. I am having 20 DTO classes in the project. Every class is having 10 variables. For 10 variables, 20 methods are required. I have 10 classes. 10 into 20, 200 methods. Just like that, we have to write to set the data and to get the data. So to avoid this problem, we are going to use a concept called Project Lombok. What is a Project Lombok? Project Lombok is a third-party library. It is used to avoid boilerplate code in project. Project Lombok will generate below things for our classes. It can generate setter methods for the variables. It can generate getter methods for the variables. It can generate zero param constructor for our variables. It can generate parameterized constructor for our variables. It can generate toString method for our variables. ToString method equals method, ToString method equals method, and hash code method. So whatever the common code is required in multiple DTO classes, instead of we are writing that common code, we can go for project Lombok. Now here, if I write setter methods, getter methods, ToString method, if I change the variable name, then I need to change my complete code. I need to regenerate everything. My constructor is not compiling. I need to change the variable name. Earlier it was email. Now it is user email. I need to change the constructor. I need to change my getter method. I need to change my setter method. And I need to change my ToString method. Are you clear? Manually, I am writing everything for my DTO. Now assume that my project is having 1000 DTO classes. Then is it easy to write the setters, getters, ToString equals hash code, constructor and all manually? That will become boilerplate code. To avoid that boilerplate code in the project, we are going to use a concept called project Lombok concept. What we can do by using Lombok? Whenever we use project Lombok in the project, you no need to write their things. You no need to write the setter methods, getter methods, constructors, ToString, hash code, equals methods in the DTO classes. Lombok will generate those concepts for our class. When I use the Lombok, I don't need to write these things in my class. When I use the Lombok, I will just write my variable. The remaining, whatever, the 70 lines of code is available. Programmer no need to write the 70 lines of code. Lombok will generate the 70 lines of the code for us. Are you guys getting my point? If I don't use the Lombok, how many lines of code available in my project? Almost 80 lines of code available in the project. I am writing 80 lines of code in the class without Lombok. If I use the Lombok, just 10 lines is sufficient. Just those 10 lines are sufficient if I use the Lombok. Sir, what about the remaining 70 lines? Lombok will provide. Lombok will provide. So I no need to write the setters. I no need to write the getters. I no need to write the constructor. No need to write the ToString method. Everything will be provided by project Lombok. Are you getting my point? So with this, can I avoid boilerplate code in the project? Can I avoid writing the same code again and again? Setter methods, getter methods, ToString method, hash code method, equals method, zero param constructor, parameterized constructor. Instead of we are writing all these things, we can go for project Lombok. So as project Lombok is generating this code for all the classes, we are saying Lombok is used to avoid boilerplate code in the project. What is the meaning of a boilerplate code? Writing the same code again and again is called as boilerplate code. In every project, DTO classes will be available. They will contain the variables. For the variables, setter methods required, getter methods required to set the data, to get the data. Instead of we are writing the setters and getters, we can generate the setters and getters by using project Lombok. Are you clear? Can you tell me what is Lombok? How it is helping us? Come on. Lombok is a third-party library. What is the purpose of the Lombok? It is used to avoid boilerplate code in the project. What is the meaning of a boilerplate code? Repeated code. Whatever the code we are writing in multiple classes, that is called as boilerplate code. Can you say one example for boilerplate code? Setter methods, getter methods, constructors, hash code method, equals method, ToString method. These all are common for every DTO class. Instead of we are writing that code, we can use the Lombok to provide that code. Without Lombok, 80 lines of code is required. With Lombok, 10 lines of code is sufficient. Remaining 70 lines of code generated by Project Lombok. Lombok is provided by Sun Microsystem. No, it is a third-party library. I want to use the Lombok in our project. Able to follow me? Now, Lombok setup. Sir, how can we use Lombok in our project? Lombok setup. Project Lombok setup. Project Lombok setup. Okay. Directly, if you add Lombok dependency in the pom.xml, that is not sufficient, guys. If you just add the dependency in the pom.xml, we can't use the Lombok. Now see here, let me go to mvnrepository.com. Let me search for a dependency with a name called Project Lombok. Now, what is the latest version of the Lombok? 1.18. Now, take the dependency, go to pom.xml, add that as dependencies, then add it. What is the scope of the Lombok? Provided. What is the meaning of that? At the time of compilation, it will be available. In the runtime, it is not required. Okay? It is provided. Save that. When I save it, I am getting Lombok dependency to the build path. Are you able to see? Lombok jar file is downloaded. Am I downloading that jar file or Maven is downloading the jar file? Maven is downloading that jar file. From where Maven is downloading the Lombok jar file? From Maven Central Repository. From the Maven Central Repository, it is downloading the Lombok. If you use Lombok in the pom.xml, that is not sufficient. That is not sufficient. We need to tell our IDE to use the Lombok to generate the boilerplate code. Earlier, as a programmer, we used to write the boilerplate code. From now, I should not write the boilerplate code. My Lombok should generate that code. IDE should use the Lombok. Okay? If you just add dependency in the pom.xml, that is not sufficient. Now we need to, first thing that we need to do is add Lombok dependency in pom.xml file. I have already added that. Then second step, guys, install Lombok jar in our IDE. Which IDE? You can use Eclipse, or you can use STS, or you can use IntelliJ also. Any IDE that you are using, you need to install Lombok jar file in your IDE. How to install Lombok jar in our IDE? Observe carefully. Go to the location where the Lombok jar is available. Where the Lombok jar is available? M2. Go to M2 repository. What is the group ID for the Lombok? org.project Lombok. Go to org project Lombok. Now can you see the project Lombok? Lombok. Which version? 1.18.26. Now can you see Lombok jar file is available? Yes or no? Now run this Lombok jar file. Do you know how to run the jar file? Do you know how to run the jar file? How to run the jar file? Java space -jar space jar file name. Now let me open command prompt from here. Let me open command prompt from here. I need to run Lombok jar file. Java space -jar space lombok.jar. I am running this jar file. Execute. Now see here. When I run this jar file, my Lombok window opened. My Lombok window opened, and this Lombok window detected where is my Spring Toolsuit IDE available, and I can click on install. And I can click on install. In sometimes the Lombok may not identify where is your IDE available in the system. At that time, you need to click on specify location and choose the location where your IDE is available. Okay. So now Spring Toolsuit IDE, you need to select the .exe folder. Like this, you need to specify the location of your IDE.exe, Spring Toolsuit.exe file, Eclipse.exe file. You need to give the path of your IDE file to install Lombok into that IDE. So this step is one-time process, guys. In your system, for one IDE, this is one-time process. Are you guys clear? Let me do this once again. Now, what is the first step I have done? Add the Lombok dependency in the pom.xml. Then install Lombok jar in our IDE. How to install the Lombok jar in our IDE? Go to Lombok jar location. Go to Lombok jar location. Execute below command. What is that command, guys? Java space -jar space Lombok jar file name. You need to give the Lombok jar file name. Whenever we execute this command, it will open one window. Lombok window is open. In that window, if it is locating your IDE.exe file, no problem. It is locating in my scenario. If it is not, it will scan your system. It will identify where the IDE is available. Suppose in your system, if it is not able to identify, click on specify location. What you have to specify? What you need to specify? Where is your IDE available? Spring Toolsuit 4.exe. If you are using Eclipse, Eclipse.exe file you have to select. Then once you have selected that, click on install. Click on install. The Lombok is installed. Quit installer. With that, Lombok is installed in my IDE. After Lombok is installed in the IDE, we need to restart our IDE. Or else you can simply close the IDE and open the IDE. Once the Lombok installation is completed, we need to restart our IDE. Now I'm restarting my IDE. Okay, fine. Once that Lombok is done, once this Lombok is installed, my IDE got restarted. Let me open this. Yeah. Now Lombok is, IDE is open. Now go to this person class. Let's go to this person class. Now what is there? Variables are available. Now, if you observe here, guys, in the person class, when I expand the person, here, before the person class, there is a variable available. Before the person class, there is an arrow mark available. I expanded the person. When I expanded the person, what you can see here? Only variables are available. For this class, only variables are available. I am showing outline of the class. That means what content available in the class I am showing you. Now in this class, what is there? Just variables are available. Now let me write one annotation called @setter. What is the annotation I am writing? @setter. Now see the person class. Now see the person class. What happened? Setter methods got generated. Now, do I need to write the setter methods for the variables? Do I need to write the setter methods for the variable? Tomorrow, when I modify my variable name, do I need to change anything? Automatically, it is regenerating the setter method. What is the method created? Set PID. Where is that setter method? In the .class file of our Java program. We cannot see that code which is generated by the Lombok. That code is compiled. It is available in the bytecode. Now, can I use the setter methods of my variables? Can I use setter methods of my variable? Now, I want a getter methods also. First check it. In the person class, I have the variables and I have the setter methods. I want getter methods also. Then what I need to do? @getter. @getter. The moment when I add the annotation, now can you see here getter methods came, setter methods also came for the variables. Now I want to change the variable. What is the setter method it is generated? What is the setter method for PID? Set PID is available. Now I will change it to person ID. I change it to person ID. When I change it to person ID, what happened? Setter changed and getter changed. Setter changed and getter. How beautiful tool it is. For our variable, it is writing the setter methods. It is writing the getter method. Now, I want a constructor. I want a constructor. Now, let's go for a parameter no args constructor. Now, you see, for my class, I'm getting the 0 param constructor. I want a constructor with all the arguments. Then all args constructor. Now see the class. Now for my class, I am having 0 param constructor, parameterized constructor, getter methods are available, setter methods also available. Am I writing that code? Lombok generating that code? Lombok generating. I want a two-string method. I want a two-string method. Then at the rate two-string annotation. I'm writing at the rate two-string annotation. Now go to our class outline. See 0 param constructor, parameters constructor, getter methods available, setter methods are available, two-string method also available. Sir, this is a common requirement for every class now. I don't want to write these many annotations. All these annotations are equal to one annotation that is called at the rate data. You are done. You will get the setter method. You will get the getter method. You will get the constructor. You will get the two-string, hash code, equals, whatever is required for your binding class, whatever is required for your DTO class, everything will be provided by one single line that is called at the rate data. Whenever you write at the rate data, now you see what happened. Constructor available or not? 0 param constructor available or not? Equals method available or not? Getter methods available or not? Hash code method available or not? Setter methods available or not? Two-string method, everything is available. So do I need to write 80 to 90 lines of code or only one line is sufficient? One line is sufficient. What is that line? At the rate data. At the rate data is a Lombok annotation. That at the rate data will generate setter methods, getter method, hash code method, equals method, two-string method, constructor also. Now, can I create object? Can I set the data? Can I get the data? Can I show you practically these setters, getters working or not? Yes. Now let me go and create one test class to prove that setters, getters working or not. Let me create one class with a name called test class. Go for test class. Inside the test class, let me write a main method. Person. I'm creating object for person P is equal to new person. Person P is equal to new person. P dot set person ID. Set person ID. I'm calling setter method. System dot out dot println P dot get person ID. In my class, actually, can you see setter method, getter method? Am I writing that? No. Then how I am able to call the setter method and the getter method? Lombok generated that code available in the dot class file. Now run this program, run as Java application. Am I able to set and am I able to get the data? Yes, I'm able to set the data and I'm able to get the data. Now let me go for system.out.println of P. What is the meaning of printing the P? Two-string method will be called. So am I overriding the two-string method here manually? No. Who is overriding? Lombok is overriding. Go to test.java, run as a Java application. Can you see two-string is printed? Yes, two-string is printed. Which annotation I am using? At the rate data. My DTO class is very clean. My DTO class is very clean. I am not writing the boilerplate code. I have 100 DTO classes in the project. Do I need to write setters, getters in every class? In every class, what I will do? I will keep at the rate data. Lombok will play the game. It will provide everything which is required for our DTO class. Setters, getters, toString, hash code equals whatever you want. So can I say I'm avoiding the boilerplate code? Yes, I'm avoiding the boilerplate code. If I change the variable name, will it affect on the setters, getters, or it will regenerate them? It will regenerate them dynamically. Dynamically, setters, getter, toString, hash code equals will be created. There is one small thing here, guys. Whenever you add at the rate data that is equivalent to getter, setter, required args constructor, toString equals and hash code. Now you are here, whenever you go for at the rate data for the person class, it will provide you by default 0 param constructor, guys. It will not provide you parameterized constructor. If you want parameterized constructor, then along with this you need to write all args constructor. You need to write the all args constructor. When you write the all args constructor, 0 parameter constructor is gone. Then you need to write, if you want both constructors, you have to write like this. If you write at the rate data, by default, it will give you no args constructor. For my class, I want no args constructor and I want all args constructor also. Then we need to write this annotation. At the rate data, at the rate all args constructor, at the rate no args constructor. Are you able to follow this? Now, let's see user class. In the user class outline, what is available in the user class, guys? Only we have the variable. We have the only variable. Now, I want everything for the user class. Come on. I want setters, getters, toString, hash code equals constructor also. What I need to do? I need to go for at the rate data. I need to go for at the rate data. Now, go to user class and see here. What is there? Getter, hash code, setter, toString, everything. If I have 100 classes also, I no need to write anything. I just need to write the at the rate data annotation. Useful or not useful? Useful. Remember, whenever you write at the rate data, it will not provide you all args constructor. It will provide you only no args constructor. When you add all args constructor, then what will happen? No args constructor will disappear. I want to keep both. Then how to do that? I need to specify no args constructor. At the rate data, all args constructor, no args constructor. Are you getting my point? Yes. So with this, you understand what is Lombok. What is Lombok? Lombok is a third-party library. What is the purpose of the Lombok? Lombok is used to avoid boilerplate code in the project. Lombok will generate the below things for our classes. What are the things? Setter methods it can generate. Getter methods, 0 param constructor, args constructor, that is parameter constructor, toString equals hash code. How to set up the Lombok in the project? Add the Lombok dependency in the form.xml. It will download the jar file. Once you have downloaded the jar, go to the Lombok jar location and execute this command. So then specify IDE location. Specify IDE location. It can be eclipse.exe or it can be sts.exe. We need to specify and click on install. Click on install. Now, once you click on install, Lombok jar will be installed into your IDE. Click on install, then close installer. The next step, close installer. Once it is done, restart the IDE. Once it is done, restart the IDE. I will keep this point here. Restart the IDE. Now, I am developing multiple projects in my system. I'm developing multiple projects in my system. So in every project, do I need to do the second step? Only I need to do the first step. When I should go for second step? Second step, this is step 1 and this is step 2. This is my step 1 and this is my step 2. So step 2 is required only first time. Okay. Step 2. Step 2 is required only first time. Now, in every project, in this system, when I am using this Spring Toolsuite IDE, in every project, I will add Lombok dependency in the form.xml. I no need to do anything else. Can I create one more project? Can I prove that? Yes. Now see here, I have one Maven project, Bean Lifecycle application available. Go to this project form.xml, Lombok dependency available or not available? Not available. Let me add the Lombok dependency. Now go to this, copy this, scope is there. You can ignore. Okay. Spring context is available, Lombok is available. Now in this project, let me create one DTO class, new class, some class like ticket. Okay. So that class I'm keeping inside DTO, ticket class available. In this ticket class, I'm writing one variable, integer ticket ID, integer ticket ID and private string from private string to private string DOJ, date of journey, something like this. Okay. Now there are some variables available. I want to generate setters and getters, all the things I want for this class. Before this, go to the ticket class and verify outline. Only variables are available. Now I want Lombok to generate everything required for my class. How can we do that? By using @data. The moment when I add @data, now you see it generated some methods. We got getter methods up to here and we got setter methods here, toString method, hash code method, equals method, can equals method also available. Can equal method is used to compare the object. If you want to compare one object with the another object, you can go for can equal method. Okay. And here it is what? Zero param constructor. I want zero param constructor as well as parameterized constructor. How can I get the zero param constructor and parameterized constructor? By using which one? All args constructor. If I add all args only, argument constructor will be available. Along with that, I want zero param constructor also. How can I get that? How can I get that? No args constructor. I can go for no args constructor. In future, we can use Lombok to perform logging also. We are going to perform the logging in the project, right? To perform logging in the project, Lombok provided a dependency, SLF4J. We can perform logging also by using this Lombok annotation. By using logging also, we can perform the Lombok annotation. This SLF4J requires some log dependency that is not available now. In future, we are going to see logging by using Lombok. Now, do you think that anybody will develop a project without using Lombok? No. Why? So many classes will be available in the project and every class will contain some variables. For the variables, writing setters, getters, toString, hash code, equals to, and all this is waste of time. It is waste of time. Okay, I have written. After that, I modified my variable name. Then error. Again, I need to regenerate everything available in the class. So that work is simplified by Lombok. So when I use this Lombok in my class, Lombok annotations when I use in my class, Lombok will generate that code, will keep in the .class file. Okay guys, now my .class file contains everything. Variables will be available, setters will be available, getters will be available. Who is generating the setters, getters for that? Lombok is generating. Now, to generate the boilerplate code, we will use Project Lombok annotations. What are they? Project Lombok annotations are available. Okay. Do you know annotations of the Lombok? What is the purpose of these annotations? Yes, Project Lombok provided annotations to generate boilerplate code. Instead of we are generating, Lombok will generate the boilerplate code. So what are those? First one is @setter. What is the meaning of @setter? To generate setter methods for variables. Setter methods for the variables. And there is another annotation @getter. What is the purpose? To generate getter methods for variables. Okay. Next one, we have one more annotation, setters, getters. If you want only setters, @setter method. If you want only getters, @getter method. I want both setters and getters. Okay. Instead of writing two annotations, we can go for, there is an annotation called @setter available and @getter is available, and there are some annotations like setter, getter, or getter, setter. What is that? @setter, @getter. Maybe they removed in the latest version, man. Getter, setter, @data, equivalent to getter, setter. Okay, earlier we have one single annotation called getters and setters. Now they removed it. Now it is not available. Okay, next one. We have one annotation called @toString. What is the purpose of @toString? It is used to generate only toString for our method, our variables. If you want only toString for your variables, then you can go for @toString. Then it will to generate toString method. To generate toString method. And there is an annotation called @noargs constructor. Noargs constructor to generate zero param constructor. All args constructor is available. All args constructor is available to generate param constructor with all the arguments. To generate a parameters constructor with all the arguments. Now similarly, we are having one annotation called @equals. We have an annotation called @equals. @equals and hash code. That means whenever you write the annotation, it will give you equals method as well as hash code method. @equals and hash code available generates to generate equals and hash code method. Combination. Equals and hash code methods will be generated. Instead of writing the all, what I can do? @data. So what is @data? @data is equal to @setter plus @getter plus @noargs constructor plus @equals and hash code plus @toString. So one annotation is equal to these many annotations. Instead of writing all the 5 annotations, we can write one annotation that is called @data. Got it? setters will come, getters will come, no args constructor, toString, equals and hash code. If you want to add them separately, if you want only setter methods, then you can write @setter. If you want only getter methods, you can go for @getter. If you want only toString, @toString. I want only zero param constructor, no args constructor. I want parameter with all the variables, all args. I want equals and hash code this. I want everything which is given by the Lombok. Then @data. So when we are writing DTO classes, we will write @data. In the Hibernate, you are writing entity classes. You are writing entity classes. So what is the purpose of entity? What is the purpose of entity? Come on. It is used to map the Java class to database table. So do you have variables in the class? Do you have setter methods, getter methods, toString method? From now, do you need to write all those things? What you need to do now? @data. Sir is using @data, setters, getters. Setters, getters. Now you know Lombok. You can ask Sir to use the Lombok. Are you guys getting my point? In the Hibernate next class, you can tell to Sir, Sir, we completed the Lombok class. We can use the Lombok. Then Sir also will use the Lombok in the Hibernate entity classes. Are you getting my point? Yes, good. So with this, we understood one important concept that is required for every Java developer. Every programmer should know what is Lombok, how to work with the Lombok. Are you clear with my point, guys? Perfect. Yes, just revise this. What is Project Lombok? Project Lombok is a third-party library. It is used to avoid boilerplate code in the project. Project Lombok will generate below things for our classes. What are those? Setter methods, getter methods, zero param constructor, parameters constructor, toString method, equals method, hash code method. How to do the Lombok setup? Listen. Some people, what they will do, they will just add the dependency in the pom.xml. They will use annotation. They will say that, Sir, Lombok is not working. If you just add the dependency, that is not sufficient. This second step is mandatory. What is this second step? Install Lombok jar file in our IDE. So do I need to do that every time or only first time? The Lombok dependency we need to install only first time. Now, once it is done, then we can start using the Lombok annotations. Instead of we are writing the code, we are asking the Lombok to generate the code. To tell the Lombok to generate the code, we will go for Lombok annotations. Can you guys tell me what are the Lombok annotations available? Come on. @setter, @getter, @toString, @equals hash code, @no args constructor, @all args constructor. Do we need to remember all the things? One annotation we need to remember. @data. When you go for @data, which constructor it will provide? No arg constructor. I want args constructor. Data plus all args constructor. I want to know args also. No args. Data, no args, all args constructors. Are you clear? Now, see, when we are going to develop projects, right? GitHub. Let me check one of the projects that I have added. Spring Boot JPA, many application is available. Now, go to this application. SRC, source code, main, Java. What is the package now? Entities. Entity. What is the meaning of entity? The Java class which is mapped to database table. Go to user.java. What is this? What is this, man? @data. From where this data is coming? Lombok package. Why I added @data? Because I have some variables in my class. These are the variables available in the class. I don't want to write that boilerplate code. So I have added simply @data. Lombok will generate the code. Can we see that code in the Java class which is generated by the Lombok? Where that code will be available? in the dot class file it will be available. Do you know how to see the code available in the dot class file? Java decompiler. In the advanced Java, I explained what is the Java decompiler. By using that decompiler, you can open the dot class file. You will see the code which is generated by the Lombok. Clear? Good. So from today, I'm going to use Lombok in our classes. When I'm developing a Spring Boot application or in the project classes, when I develop a project, I will use the Lombok dependency. I will use the Lombok annotation. Mostly we will use @data. If a constructor is required with parameter, then I will add all args constructor. Clear? Any doubts, anyone? What is can equal? Can equal is a method which is used to, can we compare two objects or not? These two objects can be equal or not to check that we are going to use that method. Right. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Amen. Yeah. Anyone having any questions? Can you type? Entity is a Lombok annotation. So no, entity is not a Lombok annotation. Entity is a JPA annotation. In the Spring Data JPA classes, we will understand that. If you see the role.java, if you use role.java, entity annotation coming from which package? Java x.persistence. In the data JPA, I will explain what is entity, what is @ID, what is the generated value, what is relationship. In the Hibernate, you are writing entity. With the XML configuration, you are doing. In the data JPA, I will do annotation based configuration. You are doing that, then fine. Good. So entity is not a Lombok annotation. Entity is a JPA annotation. Well, data is a Lombok annotation. Okay, guys. Lombok wants a jar file. Huh? Yeah. Whenever, observe, they are asking to show me the second step once again, guys. Clear? Observe clearly. I need to use the Lombok in the project. So if you add Lombok dependency in the pom.xml, let me show you that. Lombok dependency, you need to add in the pom.xml file like this. Okay. Yes. I'm adding Lombok dependency in the pom.xml. Whenever we add the dependency, it will download the jar file from central repository to local repository. Now what I want to do is go to that local repository .m2 org. Then we have project Lombok. In the Lombok, jar file is available. Open the command prompt from there. Open command prompt from there. Then execute java space -jar space Lombok jar file. Give the Lombok jar. This is the command which is used to run the jar file. When I run that jar file, what happened? Come on, guys. When I run the jar file, what is happening? When I run the jar file, it is opening our Lombok window to install with our IDE. With which IDE you want to integrate the Lombok, you need to select that IDE location. It automatically detected my IDE. It automatically detected my IDE. If it is not detecting, what you need to do? Specify location, go to your IDE. Okay, in the software, I don't have that. STS is available here. Now select this STS. Select this STS, select the .exe, click on select. So like this, you need to select the IDE, click on install. Once install is completed, quit the installer. When you do the installation first time, then what you need to do? Restart the IDE. I have given the steps clearly. Install Lombok jar in your IDE. Go to Lombok jar location, execute the below command, specify IDE location, click on the install, close installer, restart the IDE. So step 2 is required only first time for IDE. Suppose I want to use the Lombok in the Eclipse also. Again, we need to install for the Eclipse. You need to choose the Eclipse IDE location also. Then restart the Eclipse. Then you can use Lombok in the Eclipse as well. Are you clear? Online students, still anybody not able to understand? Is it clear? What is Lombok? How to set up Lombok? How to use Lombok annotations? And what is the benefit we are getting with the Lombok? What is the benefit we are getting with the Lombok, guys? What is the benefit we are getting with the Lombok? We are able to avoid boilerplate code. We are able to avoid boilerplate code. What is the meaning of boilerplate code? Duplicate code that we are writing in the project is called as boilerplate code. We are able to avoid that. Good. 80 lines of code reduced to 10 lines. So it is easy for maintenance, guys. 80 lines code reduced to 10 lines. You just write the variable. The remaining stuff will be provided by Lombok. Good. Nowadays, everybody using project Lombok in the projects. If they don't use Lombok, we have to write setters, getters, toString, hash code equals. It is a hectic work. Do you know, in my first project, when I joined in the first company, my project is having 200 entity classes. 200 entity classes they have given. And they have given 1 week time to write only setters, getters for all the variables in all the classes. You understand my point? What we will do? At the rate data. How many places? How much time it will take? Hardly half an hour. How much time they have given? Why? Because my manager don't know what is Lombok. You understand the concept? They don't know what is Lombok. What they told? This person need to write the setters, getters for 200 classes. It may take 1 week. If 1 week is not sufficient, you can take 1 or 2 days extra also. But I want you to complete all the classes. Okay, I will do it. Within half an hour, task completed. But will I tell to manager within half an hour it will be completed? No. After 3-4 days, sir, I have done lot of analysis. I got one solution. Then he will conduct a meeting. Everybody. Today, Ashok identified Lombok, which is very beautiful tool. That is how you need to act smart in the project. Yes, sir. Good question. Post-construct pre-destroy annotations that did not work yesterday, right? The reason is in the Java 11, JDK 11, they removed that JEE support. You need to add separate dependency in the form.xml to work with the JEE annotation. I will send the dependency. Yesterday I have seen that. In the Java 11, that JEE annotation support is removed. In the Java 8, that was there. But in the Java 11, that is removed. So now, if you want to work with the post-construct pre-destroy, you need to add extra dependency in the form.xml. I forgot the dependency name. I will send in the WhatsApp group today. Which dependency we need to add so that we can use the post-construct and pre-destroy. Fine. Okay. Fine, guys. Good. Anyone else having any questions? Yeah, Divyashri, I answered your question. I will send the dependency which we need to add in the form.xml to get the JEE annotations. Perfect. And in the project, guys, everybody will not know everything, right? So lot of times our project may be using some outdated content, may be using some outdated technologies. If you know something, then you need to educate your team members. That will give a good impression on you for your manager. So these kind of unique things that you do in your project, your manager will impress with your work. That will help you to get good promotion and good salary hike. How much salary hike we need to get? When we should get the promotion, everything will be in our manager hand only. If a manager give the good feedback for us, then only company will consider us for the promotion, for the hike. Always we need to get the good impression from the manager. How to get the good impression? We need to do innovative things. Daru pilao. Huh? No. We need to do good things. We need to do innovative things in the project. Right? Someone told that. Good. Lombok, definitely people will use Lombok. Now ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT to solve your problem. Now, how many days they will give for free, man? Charging. $20 per month, per year, per month. Oh my God. Okay. Good. Okay, why? Online people want to ask some question. Yeah, guys, unmute and you can ask your question now.
Hello, sir. The DTO concept and Lambok concept is different, no?
Sorry, guys, please be silent. They're asking some questions. Yeah.
DTO concept and Lambok concept is both are the different, no?
DTO is a class. It is used to transfer the data from one layer to another layer. Lombok we are using in the DTO class to generate the setters getters. To avoid that boilerplate code, we are using Lombok. Got it?
Okay, sir. And DTO is the different.
Yes, DTO is different. Correct. Anyone else?
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good evening. This is
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yeah. Sir, usually whenever we are creating Maven project, in there like project building, build path libraries, we are providing alternative libraries, right? In the edit.
Yep.
So why we are doing that, sir?
Sir, by default, Maven project is taking the default JRE path. I don't want to use the JRE in the build path. I want to keep JDK in the build path. I'm telling to use this alternate JDK instead of the JRE. Got it? Whenever we create a Maven project, by default, it will take the JRE. I don't want to take the JRE. I want to take the JDK. For that reason, I'm specifying that alternate path.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, got it. So, and one more thing, like this annotations concept will be worked from which version onwards? Sir?
Java 1.5 onwards.
5 onwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay, fine, guys. Good. Anyone from offline? Any questions? Did you practice Git commands morning, whatever we discussed? No? Yes. Night. Do you want to commit to my repository? You can't, because I need to give the permission for you. No, I will not know about that. If you want to commit for my repository, I need to add you as my collaborator. Then only you can do the commit. Otherwise, you cannot. I will show you how to give the permissions also. You can clone it. You can clone my code. You can clone whatever in the morning class, I explained Git repository, right? I have so many repositories. You can clone my repository. You can see my code, but you cannot commit. Every repository that is there is a public. Public means anybody can see, anybody can download, but nobody can commit. If you want to commit to my repository, I need to give the permission for your email ID. I need to give the permission for your GitHub account. Then only you will become collaborator. Then only you can commit it. In the real time, for the repository, they will give permission for the team members. Team members can commit to that repository. Outside people cannot commit to that repository. So in the next session, I will show you that user management. Actually, that user management will be done by DevOps team. Those people will create the repository. Those people will give the permissions for the repository. As a developer, we need to clone, we need to commit, we need to push, we need to pull, we need to see the log, we need to do the revert. These are the operations we are going to do. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, today Git notes I have to upload, guys. I have not uploaded that yet. After going, it is my personal laptop. After going home, I will upload that notes also. Perfect. This Spring material I am uploading. Are you downloading this material every day? Sometimes. Okay. So what is the next topic that we need to start? Spring Boot and versus Spring. How many of you gone through that?
Sir,
How
DTO
many
is
of you
remaining.
gone through that video? Understand what differences you observe? One
DTO is
person.
remaining.
Sorry, sir. Someone is asking in online. Sorry.
DTO topic is remaining or not?
DTO is not a topic, man. It is just a class name. Okay. So there is nothing to discuss related to DTO. DTO is just a POJO class, which will contain the variables with the setters and getters. That's it. So when we are developing WebMVC application in the Spring Boot, I will tell you how to create the DTO and all that class. Okay. So in the advanced Java, we already explained that. Yeah. Fine. Next. Yes, ma'am. Iqbal, tell me, what are the differences that you observed between the Spring and Spring Boot? Starter form, version management, auto configuration, component scan, embedded server, in-memory DB, actuators. So these are the 6 to 7 differences are available. One main point you forgot. You told that, yes, auto configuration. Yeah, right. That is there. So when we developed as of now the projects by using Spring framework, but really anybody using Spring directly to develop a project in the industry? No. Why? The extension came for the Spring that is called Spring Boot. So Spring Boot is extension for the Spring. By using Spring Boot, we can develop the applications with less or minimal configuration. Whatever the projects, whatever you can do by using Spring framework, same thing can be done by using Spring Boot also with less configurations. So in the interview, they may ask a question, what are the differences between Spring and Spring Boot? I will explain that in the next session. I already gave the video. Before coming to the next class, please go through that video so that you will have better clarity when I explain in the class. That's my point. Fine. Apart from this, any other questions? Please upload Git class. We will do that, madam. We told that video upload will take, actually I told 1 week of time to upload the videos. Morning class completed, she asking now. Right. Fine. Git material I will upload after going home. Okay. Unable to access jar file. Java-jar. Man, you did not give that the .jar location. I mean, the file name you did not give correctly, Mr. Vijay Surya. Give the correct file name for the Lombok jar. It will execute that jar. Fine. Good. Thank you guys.